Black woman humiliated by foster father at sister's wedding until billionaire husband reveals truth. Move to the guest table, the seat isn't for you. The words struck Ava like a slap, louder than the wedding music, sharper than the silverware. She blinked, unsure if she heard right, but her foster father's smirk confirmed it. Eyes turned, whispers followed. In a room full of white silk and fake smiles, she stood alone, black, bruised, but unbroken. No one knew her truth. Not yet, because in just moments, the man stepping out of the black car outside would change everything. The humiliation was real, but the reckoning would be unforgettable. Welcome, story lovers. Where are you watching from? Drop your city name and hit like to support these untold stories. Ava Johnson hadn't set foot in her childhood town in over 7 years. She had built a life far from the judgmental stares and whispered slurs that colored her youth. Taken in by a white foster family at 13, Ava never truly felt accepted. Her dark skin made her invisible at the dinner table, even as she excelled in school and outshone her foster siblings. Now, she returned for her sister Hannah's wedding, invited, but never truly welcomed. The venue was a grand estate, flowers blooming in shades as pale as the people around her. Ava stood out, not just for her beauty, but for what others chose to ignore. Her foster father, Richard, gave her a tight smile, the kind that masked old resentment. But Ava wasn't the scared girl he once knew, and she wasn't alone this time. Something told her this day would end differently than it began. From the moment Ava stepped into the bridal suite, the tension was palpable. Her sister barely hugged her, the bridesmaids offering forced smiles before turning their backs. Photos were taken, just not with her. Ava stood on the edge of every frame, carefully cropped out of memories. At the reception, things turned worse. Seated at the furthest table, away from the family, she watched her foster father give a toast filled with backhanded compliments. Some of our kids turn out shining. Others take longer to figure out who they are. Laughter followed. Ava didn't. Then came the seating insult. A server quietly told her she was mistakenly placed at the family table and would need to move. Richard looked her straight in the eye as it happened. She could feel the old anger rising, but she kept her composure because she knew what was coming. Just before dessert, a sleek black car pulled up outside. Gasps rippled through the crowd as a tall man in a tailored suit stepped out, walking straight toward her. Whispers began. Wait, is that him? She stood, calm, confident. The man kissed her hand and smiled warmly. Richard's face turned pale, because this wasn't just anyone, this was David Cross, tech billionaire, CEO, and Ava's husband. David took the microphone with effortless grace. I usually avoid the spotlight, but today requires clarity. He smiled gently at Ava, then turned to the crowd. This woman, my wife, was degraded in front of you, not by accident, but by choice, by someone hiding behind respectability. He pulled out a folder. Richard Calloway, you embezzled $2.3 million from your nonprofit over 10 years. And here's the proof. Gasps, screams. A chair was knocked over. 2 suited men entered the room, private investigators. Richard tried to run. He didn't make it far, and in that moment, Ava didn't just reclaim her dignity, she shattered the illusion of power that had haunted her for years. Dear audience, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to give it a like, it helps. The wedding never quite resumed. Guests fled in awkward silence, and Hannah, her sister, could only cry in the corner. Ava stood tall, no longer needing anyone's acceptance. She had earned her place, not through revenge, but through resilience. Later, she'd hear that Richard faced serious charges and that donations to his nonprofit had vanished overnight. But Ava had no interest in vengeance. Her life was fuller now, free. What mattered most was that the mask had finally fallen. She wasn't the poor black girl from the wrong side of the tracks anymore. She was proof that truth, when spoken loud enough, can silence even the most profound hate. How many more Avas suffer in silence, waiting for the world to listen? Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories and new videos. Take care.